I think that Call of Duty should be scared of what Battlefield is able to do.
I
Because
don't know about scared.
here's the thing. Call of Duty doesn't really have Call of Duty doesn't have. There's nothing that makes you a fan of Call of Duty today.
I mean, you could buy the game.
I mean, no, I'm saying there's no aspect of it that makes you feel like you need to play Call of Duty over something else. If there were to be something like Battlefield 6 that comes around, where Battlefield 6 copied a lot of what Call of Duty does. It copied some of the best things about modern Call of Duty.
Like what?
Like the biggest thing for me is like the Gunsmith. Like
I mean, it's just become a staple of modern first-person shooter games.
Absolutely not at the depth that Call of Duty has it. Like no one has done that except for like Battlefield 6 today. Like the way that there's so many different attachments and you can tweak them, and then like it's and I mean, like, honestly, like I hate to see other people copying other people, but this is one of those situations where it's like, dude, I'm happy to see them copy it, because it works so well when it comes for like just replayability and just progression. Like if you look at like, I mean, if you really go look at like a Modern Warfare 2, like Modern Warfare 2019 Gunsmith, and look at this new like, you know, gun customization system that they have in Battlefield 6, dude, it's like, it's not just the same thing from like conceptually, like it looks the same, like aesthetically, like it feels the same. Like I've played Battlefield 6 for like about maybe like 4 or 5 hours now, and I'm messing with the progression is like I'd say the only thing that's different is when you unlock attachments, it doesn't like give you that attachment for every gun or whatever like that, but bro, it's like, I mean, it's the same thing.
To me, I see that as like a piece of like the genre is like introduced and then gets integrated into like future entries regardless of the franchise. Like if you think of like sliding, you know, in first-person shooter games, like as soon as people realized sliding was like fun and satisfying, it kind of just became another staple of the genre. And I kind of see the Gunsmith stuff like in the same way. Like weapon customization has always been a thing, and like the Gunsmith is kind of just the next evolution of that. So I don't see that so much as like copy. I can like, you could say that they copied it, but also like if the Gunsmith is just the best version of weapon customization, then like why wouldn't other like realistic FPS games want to do something similar to that? Yeah.
100%. I agree with that.
But I also don't think that like if we're talking about that in relation to like how Battlefield 6 is going to compete with Call of Duty, I think like people will definitely, I could see people seeing that and being like, oh, like Battlefield 6 has some cool stuff, like some stuff that I like from Call of Duty. But I think the strength of Call of Duty is that it has that built-in fan base. You know, like the sad thing is like people, regardless of what Battlefield 6 does, I think it might cause some people to buy Battlefield 6. But I don't think that like it's gonna take away the audience from Call of Duty. You know, I think they've got such a built-in fan base and consumer base that the people are going to buy it every year regardless of whatever else is coming out, because it's like a known quantity, right? Like you pretty much know what you're getting with each Call of Duty. And I think that people are less likely to take a chance on something like Battlefield that they might not have as much like experience with. And I think like the open beta is going to help with that for sure, and I think it's going to get a lot of positive reception from that. It's definitely going to boost like the numbers once people play it and enjoy it. But I think with Call of Duty, like people know what they're getting.
I've been comparing these two things, like this Battlefield 6 and Call of Duty, like for so like there's so many things I want to bring up to you. Like even with something I just thought about what you said, like they copied the release strategy. Like Call of Duty does this at least ever since Modern Warfare 2, the 2022 version. They do the COD Next event, right? COD Next is where they invite like, you know, 100 to 150 people to play the next Call of Duty early. They're like, you know, content creators, and like they'll have them all like, you know, playing the next Warzone and some of the new multiplayer, and it's just this big event. And then like right after that event, they do a beta that has like, you know, it has 2 different windows. It has the like, hey, did you pre-order the game? You can play it if you pre-ordered or if you have PlayStation. And then like after that, they have it rolls into just the open beta where everybody can play it. Battlefield 6 did the exact thing. Like they haven't had a Call of Duty Next style like event that rolls into a beta before. Like this, they're like whatever they did, they showed it in they at one point they were in like the volume thing, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was cool. But they invited, I think it was 100 people. There was 100 different creators that come in, play the game. They had all played the game, they had access to it for a while. I seen from like watching creators. Then like they have the beta release thing. Like they have the beta. After that rolls into the open, the kind of closed beta that rolls into the open beta. Like, and then I think another thing that's kind of like worth noting is the PlayStation partnership. They didn't do the full PlayStation players get beta access early shit, but playing the game, there is PlayStation exclusive operators, and I think I think that PlayStation might have like jumped ship to Battlefield now that Microsoft owns Call of Duty. But I'm seeing a lot of similarities in how they're like putting it out. But
I mean, that's smart on their part.
It is smart
to kind of like draw in that audience. Be like, hey, this is an event, just like a Call of Duty game is. Like, this is a thing that you should be paying attention to. Like, it makes sense, and I think like they know. Why wouldn't you like crib off of the success of Call of Duty by having a similar game plan? Like, I get it.
I think that a lot of people, I'm trying not to point at you too much, Ari, but I think people overestimate how much the Call of Duty like core audience actually enjoys Call of Duty. Like, I feel like Call of Duty it gets a lot of its like momentum just because of like, how big it is, and the fact that it's like, it's kind of like you have this thing with these annually released games where like the player base is like, oh, here's the next one, I'm gonna buy it, even though like I might not have that much faith in it. It's just oh, it's fresh. But you have with Battlefield 6, you have that same kind of like feeling going for it, and it's launching right next to Call of Duty. Like, it's launching I think mid-October, right? And then Call of Duty launches in like mid-November. Like, I don't remember the last time that like Call of Duty even had that type of direct competition. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of people that say, I'm not going to buy both, and they would want to buy Battlefield. Like, I could see this really hitting Call of Duty's sales this year. The two things like today, now after playing Battlefield, that make me feel like Call of Duty doesn't have to be too scared is the fact that Battlefield is as much as this new Battlefield does like take from Call of Duty, it's not Call of Duty. Like, if you want Call of Duty,
it's never been.
Yeah, Call of Duty still has that like the gunplay in Call of Duty feels
arcadey,
really, really good. Yeah,
it's like tight.
Yeah,
like Battlefield goes for more realism over like the fast-paced action that Call of Duty has, and I think that's another reason why like those audiences are gonna remain mostly separate. Like, one, the gunplay is very different, and also the moment to moment. I think Call of Duty is like a great turn your brain off game, like that's exactly what TDM is. You just run around and you see someone, you shoot them, and then you can play around with different guns and unlock skins, and it's like it has that feedback loop that makes it so addictive and so fun. And that's why like people keep buying the new games, just because you get those new guns and those new maps, and that's all you really need when you're into that gameplay style, as long as you're getting new stuff and you're having a good time. But Battlefield, especially with Battlefield 6, is like TDM is like a side mode, right? Like, if you're playing Battlefield, you're probably playing it for Conquest, which is not, I wouldn't say strategic, but it requires more teamwork, and you have to play as a team, and you have specific roles that you're playing, like Assault and like Medic. Like, I could never see a Medic class in Call of Duty, because who would take out the time to like try to heal teammates? Like, when you're playing Call of Duty, it's all about that KD, right? You're getting kills, you don't want to die. Battlefield, the moment to moment just requires more thought put into it, and more strategy, and it takes accepting the limitations of the class that you're playing. Whereas like in Call of Duty, the idea that any one person is less powerful than another person, like outside of, you know, whatever controller they're using or gun or factors that don't have to do with the core gameplay loop. Like, it's so consistent in how it's made that I can't see that player base coming to Battlefield and being satisfied in the same way. And I think, like, if they are, it would take the type of person who's willing to adapt to that style of gameplay. But fundamentally, the two are so different that it just doesn't translate directly in a way that I could see it affecting the player base significantly.
There's two things I want to add to that. Like, one, I think Call of Duty is, and I'm about to speak from a like Call of Duty player perspective, like watching Call of Duty videos. Call of Duty it's not in the best place. It's at a place where it's like people really don't love it. Like, it's like, I think there's a lot of people that are willing to, this kind of goes to the second thing, that are willing to just turn their brain off on a different game. Just go like play Assault class on Battlefield. Like, I don't think that I don't think the Call of Duty community is at all married to Call of Duty.
Another thing that I'll say about Battlefield that sets it apart is that you have to be willing to deal with a certain level of bullshit in Battlefield. Like, when you play Battlefield, you have to have an awareness that a jet might drop a bomb on you and you're gonna die and you can't do anything about it. And maybe you could switch classes and try to blow the jet up. But like, Call of Duty, you know, the whole idea is that you are reliant on yourself and your skill level and, you know, your twitch reflexes. The idea that something can kill you outside of your control, I could see being another wall that Call of Duty players hit when trying to get into Battlefield. And as a Battlefield player, like, that just adds to the fun for me, you know?
Yeah.
All the different factors, like feeling like you're in a full-scale battle. Like, I'm fine getting killed by like a jet or a helicopter or something, because that's just a part of the experience. But I think for a lot of people who play Call of Duty, anything that slows that moment-to-moment shooting down is not something they want to deal with.
See, that's the problem with Call of Duty right now, is that Call of Duty, unlike if you look at Call of Duty of like, I'd say 2019 and back, Call of Duty is like, it's full of bullshit. And it's not like the type of bullshit that like you can kind of like just say, oh, well, that's just how the game is. Like, you know, like in Battlefield, it's like if you die to a tank, it's like, oh, you know, there's tanks in this game, and if you're in a building, tank can, you know, it can be bad for you. But in Call of Duty, it's like the maps, the way that it's designed, it's designed for you to die. It's designed for you to go out, get some kills, and die. It's kind of hard. I'd have to like try to really get into it to break it down. I guess the shortest way I can put it is like the maps, when you they're not built for you to kind of like make plays and go on kill streaks the way that they used to be. Like, you go into a modern Call of Duty map, it's so open that it's like you can die from like 7 different points at any given time, and it's like you just die constantly on whether it's the map or it's someone running around with a broken gun. Because, and just to give a bit of perspective on how broken some of the weapons are, if you play competitive Call of Duty, like if you play Call of Duty's, you know, ranked mode or whatever, the competitive mode, more than half of the game is just completely offline. More than half of the maps are gone, more than half of the weapon attachments are gone, and more than half of the different equipment like grenades and things are gone. Like, there's just so much you can't even use in the competitive, because you can't, like, none of that's, a lot of the stuff in the game you can't take seriously. You can't use shotguns in competitive. You can't use, like, it's just like, it's like the game is really just, there's a lot of bullshit in that game. And if you have to trade the bullshit of Call of Duty for the bullshit of Battlefield, it's gonna probably feel better on Battlefield.
See, I hate to dunk on Call of Duty people, but like, I feel like their response to that isn't, well, I guess I'm playing another game. I hope the next one's better. Let me buy that one and see how that is.
And I'm hoping, and I feel like there's a really good chance that Battlefield 6 is that game where the Call of Duty community is finally going to say, or at least a good chunk of the community is going to say, hey, there's a brand new, like, if I want a fresh new game, there's a fresh new game right there. I don't have to try this loop again of Call of Duty. Like, the only thing that kind of makes me feel like they might fall into that loop is the fact that this next Call of Duty is supposed to feel like a sequel to Black Ops 2, which is, you know, extremely popular. So like, they're probably, I mean, they got me when they played that Black Ops 7 trailer during the Xbox event.
Bro, you cannot tell me you were hyped because of that.
They played the little the little Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor Black Ops 2 music in the Black Ops 7 trailer, and I'm not gonna lie, bro, I was blinded. I was thinking, oh man, Call of Duty's back with nothing to go off of. Damn, except for that. It's bad.
Feed you slop and you would thank them for it.
It's bad, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. And the thing is, I'm with the Call of Duty community in that way. That it's like, I know how powerful that is, and this next game could be strong enough to pull people over, even though Battlefield 6 is right there. But I feel like if this year's Call of Duty was something like a Modern Warfare 3 or a Call of Duty Vanguard, like one of those like weaker ones, they'd be in trouble.